Attendance is taken.
Yes.
Approval of the agenda of the special meeting on April 28, 2026, motion 042826.01. Be it resolved that the council approves the agenda submitted by the clerk for its special meeting of council on April 28, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
We have 2 additions and we have to have unanimous consent in order to add them to our agenda for a special meeting. And they are a storage shed for the baseball field and heat pumps at the museum.
Is that under this business? Business arising or repair? New business? New ed.
The shed is new, the heat pumps would be business arising. So the heat pump will be at E in business arising.
Mhm.
So that's 8E, and the shed will be new,
New business.
new business under A, 9A.
You have to move them separately.
We can just do the amendment.
9A is what?
9A is
Shed and baseball field.
shed at the baseball field, and 8E will be heat pumps at the museum under, business arising. All those in favor of the agenda of the special meeting with the amendment signify by saying aye. Those against nay. Motion carried. Any disclosures of conflict of interest? Presentations, capital plan, Bearsville Harcourt Fire Department, Chief Perry.
Dave's gonna go over the truck
Okay,
and I'm gonna go over the compressor.
I'm gonna stand up.
well, there is a podium if you'd like to use it, David.
I don't know, I'll try it.
Okay.
My name's David Kale. I'm the Assistant Deputy Chief with the Bearsville Harcourt Fire. There's a little bit of everybody has copy of this. Is that all right?
Yes, it's in our package.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of history, just the way things were in the past. So it took us about 30 years to get our department's engine pumpers upgraded from old, and in a lot of cases, we used to only be able to get secondhand vehicles. To now we have newer and reliable first responder vehicles. In 2020, we were able to replace the last of the old tanker, which was 40 years old. At that time, we put forth a plan to update our engine pumpers to keep our fleet from getting back to the condition that the old pumper tankers were in. At that time, some of the repair costs were more than what a payment would be on a new vehicle. Also, the fire underwriters require that the first responding engine pumper at each station be recertified every year, and at the age of it be less than 20 years. So the next engine pumper to be replaced will be 20 years old in 2028. And it's also in fairly good condition, so it's could be resold. And that should help to offset the cost of the new one. So we've already started. The design takes up to possibly 18 months. So we've already started talking to the metal fab. And so we've started the design of the new vehicle. And if we follow the schedule, if we can get the final design done by 1st of June, get the tenders out in August, order it in September, then it should arrive in the spring of 2028. One thing that they've told us, like I asked about, because I saw in the US, sometimes they'd order a truck and when it arrived, it was almost double the price. So I asked about that, and they said what they do when the tender, once they tender on it and their award is tender, but there has to be a short period there. It can't be 6 months, has to be like a short time frame. So when they price the truck, they price it based on, as soon as they get the order, they're going to order the chassis. They're going to order the pump, valves, controls, all the major components. They're going to order them to keep the price, try to maintain the price. So, but when the truck chassis arrives, it'll be the first. It'll be about 6 months from an order. You can pay for it at that time, or that is the one item that there will be interest charged if you don't pay for it approximately 6 months after the order.
Mhm.
And then the balance is due on delivery. So they said they currently have been able to hold their tender prices until delivery. However, you know how the road conditions are these days. It's very uncertain. So,
No promises.
Yeah.
well,
Do we have an estimate of how much it will cost?
no,
No, what,
we're pretty close.
we got a set of drawings done, we have a set of prints drawn up for it, the prints and also, they called it they call that a work order, the document of all the stuff that's on the truck. So, and we rushed them on this because of this meeting, and he needs another week or so to get pricing in place, so whatever price, but I'm thinking it's probably gonna be around 600,000, so that's what we're thinking, like, could be higher, could be lower.
Yeah. Okay.
So placing the order in September is the idea. Is that like a hard deadline from the company, or is that like an estimate just based on what you guys have been doing so far?
I worked backwards from the
Okay,
spring back 18 months.
okay.
Yeah, and that's what he told me the other day, a truck that's just gone into production today. And it depends on what time of year, because they get a lot of orders this time of year. And that's what's taken a bit of time to get the drawings, because they're also, they're overloaded with drafting and detailing right now too, because there's a lot of tenders coming out. So once that time is passed, which will be probably another month. But they said that one was 18 months.
Okay. I asked just because of our our budget in terms of like the council schedule, like, you know, if they were trying to order in September, that wouldn't really give us enough time to get stuff in the next budget, would it?
It would have to be in the 2028 budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
But that's September 26th. So you wouldn't even do the 28 budget till the fall of 27. It's 18 months.
right, okay,
Yeah, that's September of this year
Okay.
for almost 2 years' time.
okay.
So if you decided to purchase the truck at this timeline, it could go to a point where you would not pay for the truck until 2028, right? So it would be in your 2028 budget. But the only thing is, you have to pay interest on the chassis.
That's,
So it comes, well, you could buy it outright in 27, and the chassis is yours, no interest.
yeah,
They will keep the truck, and they have to charge interest, right? Because they can't just buy, $160,000 truck and just,
yeah.
so that's the two options you have, so.
So that would be budgetable. I mean, we could potentially budget the chassis. in.
Yeah, we could bring, that could go to council for the 2027 budget for
Right.
chassis, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So keeping
So-
that in mind. Yes,
I've
Councilor
got
Camp.
2 questions. So if you order it September 1st, 2026, the chassis, when would the chassis arrive? I know it doesn't take 18 months,
Approximately 6 months.
6 months, so that's the perfect scenario. Why 18 months when it only took, 9 to get Brexton's?
I think they already had their chassis.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's already built, eh?
I've been buying trucks for the last 25, 30 years.
yeah,
And I've never seen that happen before, other than them having the equipment right on site.
okay.
It's always been 15 months. You have to plan ahead, a year and a half ahead before you can.
And I think that's what happened. They had it on site.
Yeah, and prevented tariffs and all that,
Yeah.
because it's different company.
Yes.
So the chassis would be budgetable in 26 or 27. And then we
Point of
could pay.
information, it's not an operating expenditure, it's a capital
Yeah.
expenditure, so you're not tied to the annual
Oh,
operating.
that's great.
Except to the extent that you would have factor your interest piece. If you
Yeah.
chose that, which would be probably fine, but the main expenditure is capital expenditure.
But if we could pay it, we would avoid the interest fees, right? If we could pay for the chassis.
You would avoid it, but of course you'd be spending money when you
Yeah,
You have to look at what you're spending interest rate,
Yeah.
what you potentially be able to use that
Yeah.
funds for, and for city, what your savings rate would be.
Okay.
You just,
I have a row of drawings here, if you both wanna look at them,
Sure.
it's up to you guys, but.
Sure.
Now, there's a few things that still has to be changed on it. And this is the way it works, right? You put in, you see some stuff, you put some stuff, and then things are.
Is this for all the bells and whistles?
That we was,
Just an ordinary fire truck.
the bell was.
You guys used to have- Cash right now? Is that part of this one?
No. So. Pass the area. I'm sorry.
Every fire department's a little bit different and every fire department has different requirements for.
Right, so you can't buy a fire truck for here that would work for Rex, because they have 4 doors. And we just have 2 doors because we don't have the people going to the station with the truck.
And we're dealing, well, this is with Metalfat because all our, for how many years we've been trucks of Metalfat.
And they know they might not get the bid, I know it's got to go to tender, and they know they can get it, but they've helped us design the trucks.
No, it was with a tender and all that.
Okay.
And the way the pumps work are consistent with one another, so that as people get used to running pumps, it's.
Systems, yeah.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Yes, you can.
So if it was a different company, not Metal Fab, it could be different timeline.
Absolutely. Yeah, different, yeah.
But it would not be delivered to 2028, so if you would do it, then they could bid it out tender, then they would get their chassis, whatever, but. It's 2028, that's what we're looking for. Yeah.
the other point of information, this is already allocated, through CCBF 450 and through capital removal 100. So to your 600 or 50, that just have to be adjusted.
Yeah.
But it's already been voted and, motion.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taylor. Didn't write you check, did he?
It's in the mail.
Yeah, checks in the mail.
So we get through this back and forth 3 or 4 times with some options, and we found no answers with options from council, whatever, so we decided to go ahead and make up a thing ourselves, right, for replacing our SCBA. So I talked to Scott themselves about our Scott air packs. I mean, they're still in good shape. They'll stop testing them probably in 2038. And but they stopped selling them as of August this year. They only sell them for industrial, not for structure bar anymore. So we have to upgrade to 4500s. And we've got no choices the way it is. So so we put a plan in place. The compressor we can buy in our budget next year. And we can turn that compressor down to work with our equipment now, okay? We can't turn our compressor up to pump because it only pumps 5,000, we need 6,000 PSI for it to work. So been planned in place in December 2028 and January 2029. We would, at the end of the year, we would buy 4 packs. 2 packs, and then in January by 2, so we'd be able to rig 1 truck up. One of our trucks has, all our trucks has 4 packs on them, right? So we have 1 truck geared up, and they're different, so they're not gonna be the same as our old stuff. So we're gonna try to go into this slow, but then we can, our compressor can be able to fill up both of them now, so we'll be able to work. The problem with buying all this stuff at once, it runs out at once. There's end dates to all this stuff, right? So your bottles is only good for 15 years, your Scott air packs is only good depending on when you buy them. There's a 5-year, it's from NFPA standard. If you buy them at the end of the standard instead of the first standard, they seem to run before the time. So the way we have it down here, we would purchase that for a few years. And I think in 2030, we were going to skip a year. Yeah, and then get back into the plan again in order to keep our stuff apart. So when it comes time to replace these in 20 years time, which they mostly last roughly 20 years. So in 20 years time, you're just going to buy 2 packs, right? And then the next year you maybe buy 2 more,
Yeah.
rather than buying and spending $250,000 and spend the whole thing at once. So right now, if you bought this, well, this is probably a month ago, like Dave says, that this way the world in, it was $245,000 for total for this. But if you put it over the several years, and by 20, by 2032, we run out of we run out of our bottles, so we can't use the other packs, so we're just gonna end up going in, so. This will all just work in place.
This is a timeline.
It's a timeline, and if it's kept this way here, we'll be able to just roll it into it, getting our packs and getting our stuff done, so we'll be able to keep the equipment up. And, yeah. And when the prices and stuff are down here, I put 15% in every year for inflation, because things go up. It might be less, it might be more, you know. Just kind of a guesstimate, I guess.
Any questions for Chief Perry?
It's an absolute necessity, is it? No, there's no choice to be had.
No, it's gotta be done one way or the other.
You know what happens to all this equipment after you can't use
We
it?
tried to give their stuff away. We even had a compressor one time though, because we amalgamated. We ended up giving it to a guy that took it to Dominican. And they sent us pictures of the back of their bunker suits and their names on the back of our bunker suits. There's standards in Dominican and Cuban and
A lot of
so.
different, yeah. so-
The compressor we could probably sell to a dive company maybe, or paintball. We use the same compressor. You might be able to auction it off of that. But the other compressor, we couldn't even give it away. We tried the province, we tried Nova Scotia, and we asked for some money, then we tried to give it away. Nobody wanted it. So it's obsolete for the party. So that's what we did with it.
Thank you.
So, is there any more questions? So I just want to say, within the next 3 to 4 years, we're going to be paying off debt, which is going to end up being assets to the community here. So in 2029, we have a 4-door Freightliner Rescue. It'll be paid off in 2028, sorry. It's 2018, it'll be paid off. In 2029, the fire station's paid off. So that'll also be an asset to the municipality. And in 2030, the tanker that David just talked about that we got in the truck, it'll be paid off in it. So you're actually, now, this is numbers from last year, so I don't know. It's around $94,000 a year you're paying on payments right now, which ends up to $280 some thousand over the next 3 to 4 years, right? So we're actually not gonna cost any more money right now to do some of this stuff is what we're paying right at the moment. So what you're paying today is what you're gonna pay. You don't have to pay anymore. It's just simple math. So,
It's good news.
Yeah, that's good news.
So this will be slated for 2027 budget then, so the new council will be.
This fall.
Yeah, yeah.
So you need this year, you're asking, well, in the fall, you'd be asking for the compressors and accessories for 57.7.
that's today's price.
And then
It's jumped, I
7.
think it jumped $15,000 from last year.
Yeah.
So by waiting 2, you're kind of.
Taking a chance.
Oh,
Yeah, we get it.
Any more questions?
No,
Very detailed plan, looks great.
Absolutely.
what's that?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank
I'd like to thank Mayor and Council for your service over the years. I appreciate what you've done for us.
thank you.
Thank you, chief. Can we put a motion in to remind the next council this, budget time? It doesn't matter, you said, right?
For this year, but, and it's, well, I mean, I don't, yeah, we're well.
I don't think we can motion.
Which provides.
Yes.
Well, no.
Well, that's the auditor. We can't motion to spend money for the next council, can we, Sarah?
No,
No.
No, the only reason is that's the second presentation on the compressors and the SCBA's. So-
we're embarking on, we just had our first meeting with asset management. Everything goes into the pot with that,
Okay.
everything with them. So every asset.
Cool.
And like you said, it's not really an option, right? It's kind of, it has to.
It's not an option.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Moving on, to B, the 2025 financial audit, Mr. Richard.
See you later.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Gentlemen.
If you want to start with the utility operating financial statements.
What, so what you want so fast?
Yeah, so there's there should be three minutes.
The third one is
It's the last one.
That was the bad news.
Oh.
So go on page 2. Page 2. So this is a summary. I'm going to do a brief summary of the financial statement. So total revenues this year was $333,000. Total expenditures was $366,000. So we had a deficit of $33,695. And revenues actually was $24,000 more than budgeted. I think you had an increase this year, $5 increase from $345 to $350 for 2024 to 25. Pretty much everything was close to the budget except maybe interest on outstanding accounts. That's $16,000 more than the budget. But you also have like a provision for bad debts, so that offsets with so it's not an actual increase in revenues. The big difference probably the wastewater collection system repairs, which was budget of $104,000. Yeah, it's the one that.
Yeah, you're in the general, not.
Oh,
the general.
And utility operating, yeah. Utility operating, so.
We're right here, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a big difference. You had $104,000 budget and you spent $173. So the $69,000 more than you budgeted. I think it was like $50,000 to manhole replacement at the lagoon. So that's probably the big expenditure right there. So if not, you would have had a little $12,000 on the surplus. If not for that $50,000 extraordinary repairs. You also budgeted $40,000 in reserve contributions that you end up only putting in $25,000. So it's close. So you're still building a little bit of equity for future repairs, so future capital expenditures. And I know talking to the mayor and the deputy mayor last week, we did increase the rates a lot going forward.
Yeah.
That will help you more in 2026 and 27.
Yes.
Because now you're going to have more debts as well. The new $750,000 debt is kicking in 2026.
It went from 365 to 465.
So the deficit this year,
Is-
if you were to take, for an example, the deficit this year, plus the new payment we're gonna have to start making next year, will eat up the increase.
It's. Well, this year you did spend more in comparison, as long as you.
We'll try not to.
no promises.
Oh, a utility,
Yeah.
deficit can be allocated over 5 year period, two if you choose.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Was that for that was for repair or was that for the
The repair.
Okay, okay, so strictly repair, okay.
So if you look at like page 1. So like you were saying, like, you're allowed spread over 5 years, but I think you guys are doing it every 2 years now. So ending deficit is $12,000, $12,830. So that's your last two surpluses. 20,000 surplus last year, 33,000 deficit this year. So if you add those two, that's why you're at $12,000. It's your last 2 years. So 2026, you probably incorporated $20,000 surplus in your budget. And if you want to start doing it every 2 years, you can stretch it a little bit more if you want.
What would your opinion be?
Well, yeah, it's probably not, you might as well do it every 2 years, except instead, if it would be a much larger deficit, then you really build up.
Right.
Yeah.
Longer term, but if it's only 12,000, might all ever do it every couple of years.
Yeah,
Right.
it's still managed.
If ever there's a big repair for 200,000, then you have to.
Yeah.
Maybe take 3 years to catch up, but for one little under 50,000, which is do every second year.
What could be the huge repair? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So this is yeah, so this is this was a bad one. So it's not that bad. So now we can go general operating.
What's this picture?
That's the summary of the last. We'll go through this.
Later, we got
Yep.
gotcha.
So the general operating fund
You want the consolidated?
No. Way,
Just the unconsolidated.
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 Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So same thing on page 2. At page 2.
Yeah.
So total revenues was 5,091,000 compared to 4,776,000 last year, at the budget, I mean. So you had 315,000 more than you budgeted. And expenditures was 109,000 more than budget. So you ended up with $26,000 surplus for 2025. And revenues, the larger difference is that maybe at forest fires, you had more than maybe 25,000 more revenues from the problem because of forest fires, but you probably paid it for the two apartments, all kinds of, so it's additional revenue like $25,000. Building permits, you budgeted 25,000 and you actually got 53,976, so that's 28,000 more than you budgeted. Sale of capital assets, $10,000. I think it was one lot in the industrial park. And maybe equipment that you sold for $1,500. That's what the two sales during the year. CCBF funding, $79,000. That's actually two projects that you got funding from, that you took out of your 5-year 20 CCBF plan for the Clareville rent and if you Bass River. So that was $79,000. And the other amount, $79,000. There's actually another RDC grant for $76,000 for the Clareville. And we'll go through those expenditures, extraordinary expenditures later on. So now we can go maybe sector by sector. So page 3. For general government, your actual expenditures are $845, and you had budgeted $937,000, so it's $91,000 less than budget. And it's probably fully staffed, like I think compared to last year, now like everybody's here full time. So probably the savings is probably like you had budgeted.
Missing a counselor.
Yeah, that was like 50,000 or 70,000 less than you had budgeted. Maybe like a life insurance, not life insurance, insurance policies. You had budgeted 106 and 79. I think the reason I adjusted it's because the life insurance for the environment, they put it under protection services. So you actually did end up spending $5,000 just under protective services instead of liability insurance. And another thing that you had not budgeted was consulting human resources, like 24,000. That was something that was not budgeted. You had more last year, like 71,000 last year, 24,000 this year. Protective services, it shows 1,417,000, but it's actually 75,000 more because I reclassified firefighting equipment you got in protective services. So the actual amount is 1,493,000 compared to 1,432,000. So you actually spent 60,000 more than you had budgeted in protective services because we take firefighting equipment, usually take it out and put it in fiscal services. So that's why, like, if you look at firefighting equipment, you had a budget of 148 and you spent 96, but actually it's just a reclassify that we do.
Why isn't that under capital?
You could do it in the future in your budget under capital protective services and did not affect your protective services.
For operating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the bottom line, but
No.
for us, it's for the.
Yeah, yeah.
The next department is transportation services. You had a budget of $621,000 and you spent $605,000. If you look at repairs and maintenance for summer maintenance, culverts and storm storage, you had those three amounts, you had $103,000 budget. And you spent probably $105,000, so that was pretty close to what you had budgeted. It's just line by line, maybe a little skewed because of the storm sewer and the actual road. And I think you did do more asphalt patching this year. So that's why it's probably a little less, but you didn't do any work on the culverts or the storm sewer. Environmental health, that's pretty close to the budget because that's figures that you know ahead of time. Same thing, actually, the next one is environmental development services. You had budgeted 240,000, you spent 179. It's probably like line by line amounts that you didn't spend that much as you had budgeted, like tourist attraction, they budgeted 50,000, didn't spend anything. Other decorative, you budgeted 30,000, you spent 10,000. So all these amounts add up to a 61,000 less than you budgeted. Next page, recreation. So the last line is the Clareville and Bass River. So you spent 170, rounding off 178,000 for Clareville and 32,000 for Bass River, which was financed by 79,000 from your CCBF plan, 76,000 from RDC, and the balance 53,000, which was your general operating fund. So that's how you finance that $209,000 like additional revenues. And the reason we didn't put in capital is it doesn't belong to you.
Yep.
Expenditures for those assets.
Entities, yeah.
So besides that, everything was pretty close to budget, except for that Clareville and Bass River project that was pretty much all financed anyway.
Yeah.
Fiscal services. If you look at the reserve contribution, so you had budgeted 127,000 in with both of them, 102 and 25, and you had done 350,000 in resolutions in your is it December meeting. That's what you put in. So your actual surplus would have been 300,000 more if you hadn't done that reserve contribution instead of 260. It would have been 506,000 in your operating reserve, your operating surplus if not for that reserve contribution. Those reserve contribution. But you did budget that, so, but you put actually more than you had budgeted. Another line that's probably different is the short-term interest capital projects. They budgeted 15,000. That was, I think you had expected to finance the line of credit on the fire truck. You had money in the bank account, so you didn't end up and you having any line of credit for the fire truck. So that's why there's a difference. 15,000 you see it as well.
So under general capital fund, general government services, we
Yeah.
budgeted 225 and it was only 24 plus 75, like why $200,000? What is that?
Well, I don't know whatever you line by line we got budgeted for, but it might have been just a plug amount like to balance your budget as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
That's from that's where we had the CCBF projects.
Okay.
makes sense. Thank you.
Any questions for that?
And now we can go into the page.
Oh, yeah.
So, but these are your capital additions. And here, we're just gonna go line by line stuff. So for building, you had the Rexton Fire Hall, Rexton Lions Hall, you lost $13,000. Yeah, you got a $7,500 grant from the government, and you paid the balance at $5,800. Next one, you got a new mower for $11,259 that you paid out of the general operating fund. Firefighting equipment, $75,000. And the rescue truck conversion, $7,608.
That's what.
That's $82,000 that you paid out of your general operating fund. The new fire truck, $871,000. 222,000 came out of your reserve fund. 350 came out of a new debenture, and 298,000 came out of your old CCBF 223 plan, which is now completed. I think you had included in 2024-28, but we didn't. I guess you decided not to use it. You were going to use it for something else now. You could have used it. So yeah.
The rescue truck conversion, you say 7608, is that different? That's not to what we're talking about in the meeting later? Is that above and beyond or included in the 25?
I believe it's included in.
it might have been like the first invoice. at the end
Yeah,
of the
I
year.
think that's year end, it would incur
Yeah,
last year.
While they were.
Yeah.
And also this
Should
year.
them come in this year, because we
Yeah.
got 3 of them like in January, I thought that was it. Then forgot about whatever, and yeah,
There was one, first one in December, in probably December.
so that's probably what that is.
Mhm.
So did we motion that merge?
And on the utility capital side, it was the rest of the wastewater upgrade project. So this year you spent $68,000. 31,000 of that was interest on your operating line that sewage operating paid for. 76,000 was for out of your reserve contribution that you did a resolution last year. And the reason it's negative is just we're capped, we're paying off what we unfinanced last year. Like last year we had a little deficit, now we're taking the 76 to finance what we had unfinanced last year. And the rest of the 26,000 was the last claim for the NBIDA infrastructure grant.
So how much, it says work in progress 3.0 million
It's
and
just like a-
2.2.
It's just like the full cost of the project
Yeah.
was like probably $3 million.
Yeah,
So we put it the right, like part of it was building, part of it was lagoon line improvements, so we just put it where it belonged. But the actual cost this year was only 68,000.
because part of that is funded by federal, part of it is
Yeah.
funded by provincial,
Yeah.
and then part of it by us. So
Yeah.
our
It
share,
was $750,000. The new debenture plus 76,000 you came
Right.
out of reserve, plus the interest that you paid for 3-4 years. That's sewage operating paid.
that's our share of the $3.2 million project.
But the 750 is gonna be your share for the next 20 years.
Yeah,
Like everything's your share
and
except
those payments begin
this
in 27, right?
26.
26?
If you went to get the debenture, I think last fall.
Yeah,
Last fall, so next fall, you're gonna have your first principal payment.
ouch. So
But
excited.
there's, like we talked last week, there's one coming due in 3 years though.
Yeah.
Like this new one is around 57,000 a year.
Yeah,
But there's probably one finishing in 3 years, that's probably 22,000 that's finishing.
okay.
The old, like, that was the last, the last one they had.
So how long are these loans taken out for? Because they took out a 750 in 2022, 20 years.
That's why the other one was probably like 1.5 interest, and this one is like,
Yeah,
probably the last one you had like the best interest possible, now it's a little higher, but.
you.
And maybe just go through the consultant, so just a couple of notes for that one. Because this table is prepared by other standards, it's not the same as fund accounting, so that's why I'm just gonna go through a couple items. Page 11. Yeah,
Oh,
so this is your total debt. So actually page 12, so your total debt is now 2,284,000. Compared to 1,746,000 a year, the next page, it's actually page 12.
oh,
Yes,
scared me.
at page 12, so your total debt is 2,284,000. Compared to 1.7 million last year, and so you had the new debt this year at 750. And you didn't do any principal payments yet, plus you paid. You made
Plus
payments
your
earlier. So 1.7 plus 750 probably minus 300 gives you that, might add 2.284 million. The next note is your leases. Which is pretty much the same as a long-term debt, because these are capital leases at the end of the contract, you owe $1 to get, so you're probably gonna buy it. So this is what you owe for the next, what is the next 8 years, you owe 674,000 in payments.
But they're ending.
How much?
674,000. That's the amount. 674.
Okay, thank you.
So this is the breakdown year to year, what you're gonna pay on capital lease, those 3 leases that you have for the 3 fire trucks.
And those are the ones that we sublease from the government,
You
correct?
sublease from the government that subleases from
Yeah.
RBC.
Right,
It's,
yeah, I know,
it's-
it's confusing.
yeah, it's RBC to province to you.
Yeah.
That's most of it, like some of it that you inherited.
Mhm.
I think there was one new one last year that you got like January 1st, 2024. Everything else you got after the, or
Before,
June,
Yeah.
January 1st of 2023.
because the one that came after our term started, that was 7 years in the making to get. But these are due May 27, June 29, and February 33, and they're paid off.
Yeah.
Yay. That's kind of nice to see. Thank you.
And those like, it's the same interest, it's the
Yeah.
same total payment. Next thing you can go with that is the reserves, page 21. So we're gonna look at the last column. So last column, last year you had 399,997 in your full reserves.
Mhm.
You put in 375,000 new money that you put in the last meeting of the year.
Mhm.
You gained $6,300 of interest. You took out 311,000 out of the reserve.
Mhm.
13,000 was a amount for signage that you put a resolution to put ticket money out for the signage.
Mhm.
222,000 was for the fire truck. And 76,000 was for the wastewater upgrade project. So that's why you started at 399. You put in 381, you took out 311, so your new balance is $469,655 in your full reserve. And it's broken down by reserve, so 118 is your general operating reserve. 254,000 is your capital reserve, general capital reserve. 15,000 is your wastewater operating reserve, and 81,000 is your wastewater capital reserve. These are and your, well, depending on what you're gonna do, but maybe going forward, this like a surplus from 2025 is gonna be recognized in 2026, we might end up putting more in reserve or using it for something else. So your reserve could go up in the future as well. Like this general operation.
Oh, this year's.
Yeah, like this year's surplus will be it.
Yeah.
And I think you have a resolution now using your 2024 surplus that came in 26 that you could have put in the reserve in January.
Yes.
275,000 or something.
Yeah.
You already did the resolution last year
Right.
for January 2026.
Mhm.
That's a good thing.
So that's going to build up this amount, even another
Yeah.
275,000 after this.
I love it.
Questions?
So it says here the balance of the water and wastewater operating reserve is not in compliance. What's the name of the
This
passage?
operating reserve is because you're not supposed to be more than 5% of the previous year's expenditures.
Right.
So I think 5% of your 2024 expenditures was like $14,000. So you're only offside by 1,000. So it's gonna be okay next year. Because like based on 2025, so we just left it there because it's gonna be corrected next year. But you're not supposed to have more than 5% of your previous year expenditures. So this amount here, you built the operating, 245,000 times 5%, so it's around $13,000, and your balance is 50,000. But next year's gonna be 366,000 times 5%.
Yep.
Which is less than 50,000, so you're gonna be good. That's where we're gonna be on side next year.
Yeah. As we had to spend so much.
Yeah.
Yay.
Any questions?
Yeah, that's,
I really like that we got the bad news.
yeah.
And then go to the big one. Oh, I like that, the statement of reserves.
And the state efforts, all the actual copies of the reserve. We have to put the
Yeah.
copies of the resolutions that,
And then
that Ron has.
we're gonna start now. Say something earlier in the year, bring it there and rescind it, correct it, right?
Because it should be an exact amount.
Exactly. No, it's up,
Yeah.
should be.
You want us to do the motion before?
Sure.
Motion 042826.02. Be it resolved, the council accepts the 2025 consolidated financial statement as prepared and presented by the firm Burke, Richard, and Todd, PC Inc. Okay, who was first?
Me.
Billy, okay. And the seconder,
Second.
Mike. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those against, nay. Carried. Motion 042826.03. Be it resolved, the council appoints the firm Burke, Richard, Boutot, PC Inc. as the auditor for the municipality of Five Rivers for 2026. Sharon,
Second.
and Elaine, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those against, nay. Motion carried. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
That'd be next year.
Yeah.
They have your mom.
Mike, say hi to your mom. That's
Okay,
right.
next is acknowledging first the Council of Five Rivers for their service for the community as the first council for Five Rivers after local government reform in 2023.
So, on behalf of Five Rivers, it is my honor to present these plaques to commemorate the first council following the local government reform in 2023. We're going to start with Ward 1, Deputy Mayor Campbell. Marla's going to pass them out just to save everyone from getting them.
Thank you.
Is it okay to do this?
Ward 2, Councillor Mike Robertson. Ward 3 was Councillor Kelly Pigeon. She resigned in June of 2025, so she'll be mailed her
Thanks.
in the mail. Ward 4, Councillor Elaine Warren. Councillor at Large, Billy Flanagan. And Councillor at Large, Katie Robertson. And we have our mayor, Tina Beers.
Very nice.
Very nice.
We have another item on the agenda.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Acknowledging Councillor Elaine Warren for her service to the community for 22 years, May 10 to 2004 to May 11, 2026.
So on behalf of Five Rivers, it is my honor to present this plaque to Councillor Elaine Warren in recognition of 22 years of dedicated service to the people of Five Rivers and Rexton. During this time, Councillor Warren has attended countless meetings and functions as an elected representative to her community. For more than 2 decades, she has influenced debates and voted on resolutions that have shaped the Rexton and Five Rivers that we know today. This plaque pays tribute to Councillor Warren's many years of public service, and we would like to wish her well in her return to the private life as council. Congratulations.
Very nice. That's very pretty.
Back up. Minutes. April 14. Oh, I'm just looking for.
We didn't have a, we had a special meeting in March. How come the minutes aren't there?
It would have been on April 14th. That's when, I think I was the one with her.
No, that's our regular, but didn't we have a special meeting in March? Oh, we did it in April, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Tiffany, I'll just give it a minute.
Okay, April 14th. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 14th, 2026, motion 042826.04. Be it resolved, the council approves the minutes as submitted by the clerk for its regular meeting of April 14th, 2026.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any questions or comments on those minutes?
Hang on, Elaine's
Yeah.
looking.
I never, okay.
Someone from
I-
2 weeks ago.
When I write these notes, I know, I think I'm gonna remember, but there's one in, under surplus land. B. Surplus land in the minutes, is that?
On page 6.
Page 6, okay, yeah, so does it say, there's something there, I think, was in twice. Counselor Flanagan. Yeah, I'll have to go back.
Well, Counselor Warren, I have you twice in there.
That's right, and it was
Oh,
Counselor Flanagan.
yeah.
Seconded.
Right.
Catch. Any other questions or comments on those minutes? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Motion carried. Approval of the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting on February the 24th, 2026, motion 042826.05. Be it resolved that council approves the minutes as submitted by the clerk for its committee of the whole meeting on February 24th, 26.
So moved.
Seconded.
Questions or comments on those minutes on the 24th? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Motion carried. Committee reports, the minutes of the bylaw and policy committee review, policy review committee for April the 2nd are included in your package. Business arising from a previous prior meeting. 8A, Government of New Brunswick gifting agreement of fire equipment. This was a nice surprise.
Scary. The deadline's Friday. They extended the deadline to May 1st,
And we've already contacted these people.
just saying.
Okay. So each fire department will receive the following equipment from the province. And I don't know what they all are, so hoses, forestry hoses, suction hoses, spark plug wrenches, barrel nozzle, fog nozzle, foot valves, fuel cans.
It's worth some money.
Toolbox, oh yes.
It is.
So it's all good. Then next we have operation and management agreement of the Bonner Law House Provincial Heritage Place. And that agreement was signed on Friday.
What was the date?
I don't know off my head.
Last Friday. Thank you.
Oh, yes, Elaine.
So that agreement, that didn't come to council.
There's no cost
Still cost.
Well, there is a cost.
in covering the insurance, you would say insuring it?
Well, the whole thing, like, it's 100,000 last year was to operate that place, and we got 55 from the government, according to the.
Yes.
So it's going to cost 100,000 plus any insurance, like, right?
100,000?
100,000.
Well, it was 56, I have a note here that.
They gave us 55,
Right.
and covered 45.
But Bonner Law Common expenses or whatever, what we spent there was 111,484. We got 55. So we stand 56,484. So now we're gonna spend 111.
This was time sensitive, so we had to send it in to the province.
But if council couldn't have been a consultant.
It was time sensitive, it had to be done.
It was brought up last meeting.
Yeah.
Not the agreement. We
No.
never saw the
We knew
agreement.
there was a meeting.
We knew there was a meeting. You said you were going to meet.
Mhm.
but we
Yes,
never-
and I said it was positive, they said it was positive, so,
But we never got to see the
No.
agreement.
no.
The agreement is the same as it's always been, except they deducted or removed all the parts that where the province had oversight or they, like the reporting responsibilities we have are gone. But from an operation, a basic operation, it's no different than it has ever been. All that the agreement wasn't modified except to remove sections of it, which didn't apply by virtue of the fact that they aren't providing funding.
But was it, it's money that we didn't budget for, that if we're gonna do anything there, it's going to cost at least that much.
So we already maintain, and we have been maintaining the facility for a long time with repairs and mowing of the lawn. We staff it. We have camps there that we've been covering. Summer students are there. So
Public.
I
that's
realize
when it was
that.
a
We were aware of
but
it.
maybe everybody else is not aware of that, Elaine. So
Well-
it was an easy segue into, you know, the municipality has been running it, so it's not gonna change.
I also
Change.
believe that when it was brought up at the last meeting, it was voted upon to go ahead to try to operate Bonner Law for this season to work forward. There was one nay vote.
That's right.
We never, that's right.
Yeah.
So it was a motion of council to go ahead with this.
Yes.
I didn't say that. I said we did not see the agreement. We didn't, and it says council. That we agreed to, but we didn't see the agreement.
But
But we
they-
agreed to whatever they got.
But this agreement doesn't cost us anything. On that paper, it shows us spending no money to the province. So they didn't sign an agreement costing the municipality any money. We knew what the budget was for Bonner Law and has been for the last, since we've been in term. We understood that money wouldn't be coming forward this year, but as a council, we agreed to operate it for this coming year, knowing the funding was on, we were on the hook for. I think the community,
What's
Expected.
taken in? What revenue do we get from the Bonner Law Common?
What revenue do we get from the curling rink?
I'm just asking a
That's what's
question.
happening too. Same thing.
So the revenues would be attributable to more basic things like wedding bookings, events. The event that we council discussed last week, the outdoor fighting proms, that we don't know the exact amount yet, but we anticipate it'll be a very considerable revenue stream from that as well.
Right, so that's my other question. So with that event coming up, we haven't, now it's our insurance. And if something
Always
happens,
was. We insured it before.
yes, but it was the government's
No.
property.
Yeah, but we still insured it.
It doesn't matter that now we're gonna be.
We still, it'll be the same. We still insure it.
They didn't hold any insurance for their.
No, but it's there, if something happens to that property, it's their property.
and we had to insure it. Like the
I
ball
didn't know
field,
that.
we don't own the ball field, but we're responsible for it. It's the exact same scenario.
Not a-
We don't own it. We haven't gotten any revenue. Sorry.
So at its core, this agreement is just the province saying, we're gonna let you do whatever you want. You don't have to check with us for A, B, and C historical, this and that, whatever. And we're not getting any more money. That was the base of that agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're giving us the reins to do with as we please, and I say we as council. So the next council will, it will be up to them to decide, looking at the numbers, yeah, what they will want to run the same or what they or we will be changing. Okay. So that's what that's what you're
Yeah.
saying, we're not,
And-
the agreement wasn't.
No,
There was
and
no-
this agreement's only for this year,
Yeah.
so the other agreement will be coming. Do we know, Marley, when? Any idea? It's for future years, for the rest of the years. Yeah,
Right.
that is in the works.
So
Because-
that information will be when they send the signed agreement from the minister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as of now, the province still owns that entire.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we prove ourselves this year and bring in people, then they expect 5,000.
So there's great opportunity there.
Yes.
And it's underutilized.
Yes,
So what happened last year was that we hired the recreation position full-time this is the first year we had a full-time. Unfortunately, we lost a community coordinator. Now we're getting a new one very soon, a rec. So the community coordinator is now Marley, and we're hiring another person for the rec, and it's year round again. And I mean, I see so much opportunity there. We talked about a wharf
we'll
being
volunteer.
constructed, where boats could come in off the river. Like I could see a boardwalk there, ice cream shack, a restaurant, many like musical events. So with the staff in place, we can make more money off it, I'm sure.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
And there's another part of the agreement I think a lot of people overlooked is the province is still on the hook for the house.
Yes, exactly.
And they are still responsible for the repairs.
Yeah, they're committed to that.
They're committed
Okay. Mhm.
to taking care of that. We're off the hook
Yeah.
on the house and that part of
Yeah.
it, right? And so that's not on us at all.
No.
So I think that's a key part of that agreement also. We are not on the hook because those are big repairs.
Phase
needed on
one
that house.
is the carrying
Yeah.
beams and
Yeah.
the porch.
And
And
then
phase
windows.
was the
Windows.
chimney.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they are, they were gonna do it last year, but they couldn't find the contractors. So if anybody knows any contractors, talk to Rob,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I wanted to say, I talked to my group and we plan to volunteer as much as we're asked to.
As the historical society?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
Mhm.
So there is an
And
opportunity.
Katie, there's a starting one for you. You've been on TV already.
Okay. Moving on, payment for the fire rescue truck retrofit, motion 042826.06. Be it resolved that council approves $24,571.04 to be allotted from the general capital reserve fund to pay for the Rexton Fire Department rescue truck retrofit. This motion replaces the resolution 031026.17 dating to March 10, 2026. A motion. Would like to move?
I'll move it.
Okay, Katie and Billy, seconder.
Sure.
Questions or comments on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those against nay. Motion carried. D, rescind motion 090925.03 to purchase a dump truck. So motion 042826.07. Be it resolved that council rescinds the motion 090925.03, which was to purchase a dump trailer for Public Works Department for $28,000 at its regular meeting on September 9, 2025. Elaine and the seconder.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments on that?
I have a comment and question.
Okay. Who had their hand up first?
She did.
Karen?
So does this mean we're not buying one at all ever?
No, I wouldn't say that, but it will go for his consideration.
Not for
It'll
now.
come up again as asset management, but rather than leave it open and,
Okay.
it's best to rescind and close and leave it for the next person.
I don't
I
understand.
understand.
I don't understand.
How come, like I seen today, they had a United Rental ones, how come they're out just buying when they say they want to rent it?
It's more that we, in light of all the expenditures were, sort of that are, coming aboard, we just, deferred that decision to the future to not have to spend 30,000 roughly, or 25, 30 this year, right now. Plus, to your point, we did rent, but we did not anticipate we'll have, last year we had kind of an unusually high use because of the outdoor work we did in the rink. We don't have any such use case or anticipated use this year.
I think we need to trailer. You can always use a trailer.
So, yeah, I guess, are we finished? Sorry?
Yes.
Okay. So this decision was more so prompted in response to budget and less from a, like, public works telling us we don't actually need it right now anymore?
No, I would say it was, the first thing was that we tried to close off any sort of thing we could, that we're gonna carry over to the new council. This is a decision that hanging and was
Right,
open,
okay.
so we wouldn't purchase it next, but it is something that we'll probably revisit in the near term of the next council.
Okay,
So budget for this, can we budget for it?
It was a capital expenditure,
Mhm.
so it wouldn't have hit the operating budget.
Okay.
And, yeah,
so rather than rushing it through, because it was an unclosed tab, we're going to
Close.
rescind now and then the new council can reopen at their leisure.
yes.
Gotcha.
I saw that we bought one. We had one. I saw it. It looked good. It worked good, and then it was gone. So what happened to that?
We purchased one and we just made a decision that it wasn't the right one for us and we took it back. So it's
What
one,
was wrong with it? I seen it. It looked good to me.
it was, yeah, the decision was just take it back and it wasn't sourced locally. And, I think at the end of the day, we want to give full consideration to that option. So.
So,
Any more questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those against, nay.
Nay,
Nay.
2 nays.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3,
Or two.
4, the 2.
Mistake, ladies.
Motion carried.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really.
can't hear you.
Okay, so 9A is,
Forgot the heat pump.
9A is, oh, right.
Yeah.
AE, okay. So we originally had in the capital renewal fund to purchase the heat pumps. But then when it came down that, the province was thinking about closing,
Yeah,
it was recommended from the CAO that we take that out of the capital renewal fund until we find out more information, and we replace the roof at the Rexton Lions Hall with that. So now that we know we are getting use of the museum and it looks really good for the future, it's the question to invest in those heat pumps.
As disappointing, it was the 2023 top up,
Yeah.
CCBF top up and not the
Right.
capital renewal, but
Yeah.
just as a note. But
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
what's the difference?
Yes. That's right. The 60,000, wasn't it?
That's correct.
59, yes, okay, that's right.
that's right.
Karen,
so this will be a capital investment, correct?
Correct.
So would we take it out of capital reserves or the leftover from the HST from the fire truck that we got, that we used 25,000 of kit for the retrofit, which would leave 60,000? Could we use that money?
As a point of information, it's sort of 6 and 1/2, doesn't
It's
it?
all-
Unless it all goes, in- both of them went in capital reserves, so it's really just about to say whether you want to take it from capital reserves, or you want to use capital funds.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
the only thing is we don't have a quote for it yet. I would like to have a quote. And, my suggestion was we do like a quickie meeting before the election online to approve once we know, because we don't know if it needs 2 or 3 heat pumps, and we want
What's
to make
that?
sure that it's done correctly. Right. Billy,
Maybe a dumb question, but what's the difference between heat pumps than
mini splits. Mini
mini
splits, sorry,
splits.
mini splits.
So we're getting mini splits.
Yes,
Well, and then the
Yeah.
recommendation would come from the professional, I guess.
Yeah.
Whether it's a heat pump or a mini split.
It's in-
because our court station got quotes on both sorting.
Yeah, yeah.
On a heat pump and mini splits.
Yeah,
Okay,
so then that way we would know better how much it would cost,
Right.
right, the cost, Mike.
and
Would
it's
it not be better to wait a year until you know with certainty, besides spending 25,000 on something you might not, they might kick us out next year.
They don't lead us to believe that. They don't want it. They want to get rid of it, and they would be happy for us to take it off their hands. It's just that those poor kids over there, I know they've been suffering through heat every summer. They man the museum. And the opportunity is there for it to become possibly in the future a tourist bureau to get more people to come. There is one in Rishibukto, but with there's not being any cooling in there, like it makes it very uncomfortable. Yes, exactly. And not only that, if we had the mini splits or heat pumps, then it would be able to be used in the wintertime as well.
Good idea.
So, and I don't think it's gonna cost 25,000. This one was 6,000, so
So 18.
even
Yeah, they
three,
quoted 3 for 15 in Hartford.
yeah.
But wouldn't it also, if something were to happen, as Mike stated, we could take them out
True,
and reuse
put
them,
them someplace else, yeah.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
True.
so, I mean, I understand what Mike's saying, and it's scary after what they did, but
Yeah, but
I also think they just want rid of it.
they do.
Because they just don't want the headache, but better safe than sorry. However, we can take them out. If something were to happen, we can take them out and reuse them. Maybe the Lions Club,
Oh,
maybe the next
yeah,
time.
police forum, for
I
sure.
mean, there's lots of buildings,
so I
right?
got 350 pieces of antique items I'd have to take out.
Yeah,
Well, and that's the other thing for quality control of the air is
Yeah.
better for antiques if
Yeah.
it's got a regulated climate in that
Right.
you
building.
wouldn't have to take your TV down.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we will have one more quickie meeting
To
to
approve.
approve or not approve the heat pump, so some more, no more information, okay, so.
That we have money in
And
operating.
there's a few people, we should get a few,
Yeah.
quotes. And the guarantees important too.
When we have the next meeting.
So, so just to be clear, so that the province is still gonna pay for the construction upgrades, but they
The
would.
house, it's a house.
If you have the repairs to the house, so this is on the museum.
They said last year they would. What happened was late in the year, they couldn't find the contract.
They couldn't get contractors.
Right, okay. Okay, moving on to 9A, the baseball field, it's suggested that we get a storage shed for the baseball field, maybe Rob can.
Yeah, the brief explanation is that we now have sort of a critical mass of equipment that is being shared by 2 different organizations. So everything from bases, the liner, baseball bats, various equipment. And Mary has raised a point, we had thought about putting the mower over there. We have to our lesser mower fuel over there because we don't have to transport it. We think it's gonna be used 5+ days a week now with the 3-4 teams we have. Right now, or in the past, I should say, in the past, leagues and people from those leagues have taken the equipment home, municipal things home, and then brought it back. So rather than have that happen, it's how we get a shed so we can store it locally, lock it.
Things go missing, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So
My concern was that people breaking into these little sheds, they're unsupervised and I know. Yeah, one of the Harcourt cemeteries, they had a shed there with a lawnmower. I don't think it was zero turn, but anyways, it was broken into and
What-
stolen.
There is a way around.
Fair point. I just gonna say, we are looking at getting a handful of inexpensive surveillance cameras that will put at Carson Landing.
Solar.
They could be based, that could be put there in a discreet location and can say that the site will be surveyed. That would help. It doesn't entirely protect you from
No,
vandalism, certainly, or theft, but it does.
it does. But I also believe if you got a solar powered light that shone right on the front of that building, you would not believe the deterrence that
it
has.
helps,
They don't want to be seen. And you put up a little camera,
but people
Why?
really, they'll just go out and steal baseball bats.
they go in to steal the gas,
Oh.
right?
Running
What,
around in there.
do we know how much?
We've had only one quote so far, and it was 5,200 install tax in with a ramp to drive up if we chose to do that. That was, Josh got that a couple days ago. It is a fairly recent consideration, to be clear.
Yeah, I know.
But it's one because baseball season's upon us and we're scheduling, planning, we have the leads lined up that.
How many leagues do you think?
It's full, anyway, the teams are all full.
Yeah, Kent says, Kent's good is there. So that's good.
Do you think this is a good idea up to the shed?
I do. I think the mayor's concerns are completely valid. It's something we're gonna have to take measures to try and protect it.
Because it's so way back there.
From a logistical standpoint, we're gonna have somebody more dedicated to looking after the fields, lining them every day and doing it before games and so forth. And it'll save a lot of back and forth, people dropping off, people dropping stuff off, third parties taking our equipment and that sort of thing. And it'll be convenient for them and better for us, so.
I think, yeah, for the longevity of the equipment itself and to, having the infrastructure there is gonna encourage use, and that's what we want. We want it to be used. We want kids playing sports. We want
Yes.
people gathering and getting out. So I think it's a great idea, yeah.
And the more people go there, I think the,
Yeah, for a while.
see it for the
So
basket.
I just wondered what size that would be and what's the construction, is it? It's not one of those little tin.
No,
Thanks.
we're looking at a wood structure and we looked at 8x8, 8x10, 8x14. I don't think we'll need 8x14. I think we'll go with 8x8 or 8x10. Be what we'll end up with.
But just,
And I think the quote was on an 8x10. Is that recall?
okay, because and would construct it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, similar to what you see across the yard here. Same sort
Okay.
of construction.
Yeah, around it
Right,
there.
right over.
Yeah,
there.
by the bridge there and
Or
or,
by the bridge as well,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so we have, though we don't have quotes from those, all those sources have been consulted or been contacted, so. Yeah, for quotes and estimates, so.
Katie?
Just one thing that, like, as if Josh and the public works, we don't already have enough to do, but one thing that would be great if they can find the time once, assuming it's approved and once we have it there, is if we can have even just rudimentary, like just some little shelves in there, but if we picture your grandfather's tool desk where everything is lined up, where all the tools go, not to that level, but if we can have dedicated spaces. Yeah, but even dedicated or even labeled spaces for where the common things go, just because with several people using it, things get tossed around. I know
Yeah.
our rugby shed was a disaster half the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
organize it.
Yeah.
Shelving and so forth.
Yeah, and just it's dummy proof for anyone with, oh, this is where home plate, this is where the balls go,
Okay, the question is, do we make that motion now? Are we comfortable
Yes.
with that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So a motion for an 8x10 shed, 5,200.
I would say,
Yeah.
just to keep safe, if you will,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can
But-
just choose capital
but
funds for it.
Didn't the auditor tell us though,
Yeah.
when we make a motion, we need to
If
be
you
more
move-
specific?
You're, what this does, if you're quoting reserve, here, we can use capital funds, or we can make when we get the exact quote at the end of the year, we can make a motion in December to resolve it.
Okay,
Good.
so
And that's what he recommended.
up to $6,000 taxes in
In capital funds, but don't say reserve, because it's, yeah.
with
Yeah.
capital funds.
Yes,
Okay,
capital
so who would like to move that?
I think.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those against nay. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to, oh,
I
sorry.
have a question on that though. So who has the key? If teams come there, how are they gonna get in?
Right.
It would work similarly to how we deal with the rec center. So we would have, we would of course have a key. And our Publix Works, and we would probably give a key, one designated key to each of right now we have,
Coaches.
I think it's 4 teams, and 4 representatives each league, they each run a team, so it'd be given just to the coach only, it wouldn't be shared, and that would be the understanding.
And when the season's over, they pass them the keys.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Even have them pay a small deposit. You're like, okay, you get this back when you give me my key.
We changed the law.
or even a waiver that says like, what I take out, I'm gonna put back
Yeah.
in, and then just go with that.
Well, it would be through experience. If it ends up the place is empty at the end of the season,
Yeah.
then chances are council won't do it again.
Yeah.
Right? Won't
Yeah.
re-equip it. So it's really on your honor system and whether this stuff stays there or not, I would say. But, yeah,
Which is, if we are using physical locks, they're having to replace keys or replacing it all the time ends up,
Yeah.
even a small deposit ends up being a decent deterrent for.
Yeah,
people.
that's true. Precious. Yeah, Karen?
I know, but that the coaches aren't gonna buy new equipment if something was missing. That's not fair. They're already,
No, I think,
I think.
yeah, no, it'll run, I think, literally the same way we do the rest.
Yes.
We entrust the members of the King Colonel.
No, I meant keeping, so right now they bring the equipment home with them because there's no storage there. So the question is if it's in the storage shed and somehow it disappears or whatever, then it might be good to go back to the way of them taking it home and then bringing it back.
But
So-
don't the teams, that's their equipment, their bats, because when we had, like, they all had their own bats, Roger Ball.
We're talking bases and stuff.
Yeah, well, the bases,
Yeah,
they're
bases
there,
are
but
long,
that's.
And we actually did get a grant to purchase some baseball equipment that they'll be our own. So we will have that in there. as well.
If they needed it.
If they
Okay,
need it, if they
yeah,
want to
all
use it,
right,
yeah.
because-
But they will need the bases.
So through the,
They
like,
were
with the
all-
Kent South Baseball, through Kent Regional, there's been organized for that, and we got some money through, I think it's a
Jumpstart.
Jumpstart. Yeah, 5,000 through Jumpstart. We got
Nice.
for equipment, so
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, excellent.
not just baseball, but generally, that's part portion. of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to 10, which is a closed meeting. Motion 0428262308 to exit open session and go into a closed session.
Move it.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Wayne?
This name. Here.